Okay, storytelling Ron. I'm here to talk about Storm King Thunder, episode 2 vlog or recap of what we played. And just because I already explained what I was going to do for Storm King's Thunder, and I'm going to now explain how I played it out. And this is episode 2, their first level. They did in the previous one was a tavern type of thing and getting together, so no experience. But this is where the action happens. Adventure 2. So they start off in the caravan. I really build up, and this is also advice for you on how to really DM and get things going. I really built. They're in the caravan in Waterdeep, getting prepared, getting ready to go up the North Furrow Road. I should show the map of the area. So here's the area. They're at Waterdeep, and they're going to go. So their plan, the choice they made is they're going to go with the Merchant Goulet up this North Furrow Road. And it's going to take 5 days to get to Golden Fields, and get the stuff and then bring it back. And that's the job. 50 gold now and 50 gold when they're done. And the reason they got that much is because everyone is fleeing. There's panic. The giants, there's fear of giants. And then there's bandits on the road and there's chaos and stuff. And so nobody wants to do the job. And so they're only one of the few that the merchants can even hire at such a cost. So I played that out quite a bit. They had a lot of fun with that. And then as they're getting ready, they look around and see the farmers and they talk to some. And I made it very nice and emotional. They see a family and a cute little girl that looks up at, because remember the characters are a tiefling and a dragonborn. So I made it so they got kind of, you want to get an emotional attachment to the farmers and peasants. And that's one thing that I noticed too, a lot of DMs is you got to give them an emotional and obvious connection. And obviously the easiest one, the simplest is peasants and farmers. And they're usually the first to suffer anything anyway, whether it's a curse or a goblin attack or, whatever's going on in the land, whatever is the problem, the peasants are usually the first to suffer. I mean, obviously you can make it royalty or noble or lords or knights, or soldiers suffering, but the simplest is the locals. And so that's how I'm playing that off with them. And they're getting that feeling now because they're talking to the farmers at the caravan area, and it's a big refugee camp kind of thing. And the merchant's very rude, and greedy. And I play Merchant Goulet that way. So he becomes the funny character for them to deal with. And I create a story where these horsemen come through and cause a panic because they're saying, one of the towns, Orlbar has been taken by the giants. So everyone's freaking out. And of course, Orlbar is, go back to the map, is actually in the Stone Giant area, which is past Ulven here, over here somewhere. And that's going to come into play later, but I like adding that. I like adding Orlbar, and they wrote that down. And the merchant said, don't worry about that. That's far away in the stony... And I tried to give him a clue, but I don't know if they caught on. That's far in the stony mountains. We're only going to be in the hills, the stone giants and hill giants. Played that a little bit there. And most of the 3 people that are playing right now, I'm playing on a couple more, but the 3 that are playing now, they're relatively new to D&D. One of them is really pretty good, though. He's a quick learner. So I thought he was going to pick it up, but I don't know. But anyway, you do stuff like that, fun stuff like that. So it's funny is I have here Merchant Goulet, Sergeant Ilko, and then the guards Tonic and Kit are the ones that are on the merchant wagons with them. I never included Sergeant Ilko, so I'll take him out. I just Goulet and the 2 guards. That was enough characters to play off of because I made the old guard, and the young guard, kind of nervous. So they're both kind of useless, and the party can tell. Anyway, they start heading up, and I wrote these down. Oops, all right, don't want to do that. I wrote these down. The Wagon of Travelers. This is in the Storm King's Thunder. I haven't played those yet. I should have played up on those a little more, like as encounters along the road. But they had a lot of things going on, and I named one of the bandits Jacko, but there was no need. They did have a simple encounter, and this one was just theater of mind where they went along and there was a little halfling farmer wife suffering with her little children, and I really described them cute and sad and crying along the road. And there was a farmer that tried to help them, and he was saying, "Come with us." He has his own wagon with family. "Come with us. We'll take you to Waterdeep." And she said, "No." I made her totally crying. And they learned that there's some bandits just over there in a little grove of trees that took all her 2 goats and her cart. That's all she has left after her husband died from the goblins. And so it took them a little while, but it was a great little fight. It was there, and that's the first little intro fight. They went in, did a little flanking to go to these bandits. I set up a nice. I just on the table. I just had their little paper minis, and I put the little bandits. I used the dice trays as trees. I used the dice as the carts and stuff. To play that down, put that down. I didn't need to feel like I needed to bring out a battle map and draw it because I just had all these props on the table as it was. So I just made like a little grove of trees with the dice trays and the dice as debris and the loot and stuff. And so they went in and had a good little battle. It was pretty cool. It was epic. And the new guy, that's the Dragonborn, he played it really well. He charged in, did his fire breath, did some cool things. They all had some good attacks. The bandits were trying to ambush them because they didn't really sneak up, which those are the 2 options. And they just went in, like he just went for it. The dragon, he did the barbarian. And then the ranger snuck around and she snuck around. So it was a bit of an ambushy post, like everyone was kind of sneaking up on everybody. And that was kind of a fun little mix of battle. That was a nice little first level encounter. What was cool is the merchant was like, "You're not going to go help these farmers. I hired you to, guard my wagon. Forget this." And then the new player who plays the barbarian, he's like, "Can I use intimidate and just scare him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it's for." So he rolled 20, natural 20, totally. And I had this whole speech, and I was going to work out like a compromise thing, but as soon as he rolled at 20, and the guy was all the merchant, So that was a good laugh. And then they went and did the bandit thing, and that was a good little intro. I didn't use Jacko the name; they didn't need it because they just fought him and killed him. And then they got some stuff, minor stuff here. The ranger got a +1 master crafted arrow, so just 1, and it's not magical, so it's just well made. They got some gold. I didn't give any healing potions for this one just yet. And they split and then afterwards they gave the card to go to the halfling farmer woman, wife or ex-widow, and then they took the rest of it. And the merchant, then they did a little deal with the merchant. He was going to sell it at the next trading post and get some money, and there was a little back and forth with that. Then they get to this North Furrow trading post, which is just along the road here. I made this, if there's going to be some spots where wagons obviously are going to stop along this road. And obviously this is all low-level stuff. This is where, so instead of doing crazy stuff, I want to slowly build it up. And I want to build up the tension of the fear of giants. So I want to focus on that and the suffering of the people. And so they have a connection now to save the people, which is the simplest thing to do. And it works. So here's my little doodle, and I'm going to put this on my mini maps or mini dudes Patreon as something you can use wherever, whenever, for whatever adventure you want. Okay, so they come along. I don't really describe this mysterious rock. I don't have these titles on here. I just have North Furrow trading post on the map that they see, and then this is all just from me. But they come along the road, and so this is sort of a hill, like a slope down to the river, slow-moving river. It's the Desireen River, and the bridge. And they go, and then the inn and tavern are run by the same Furrow's Folly person. This is obviously a refugee area for the farmers suffering. The Wainwright here, Tanner Smith, the monastery with some herbal gardens and healing stuff. Troubled Woods is what that's called. A little stream going down this river. And now this is Troll Isle, but they don't know that obviously. And this is the Marshy Wash. These titles are not here. The players don't see these titles obviously. So what happened here was really good. It was really good for them. I really felt like they had a couple little adventures here. So first thing is when they got there, the Dragonborn is a gladiator. Now I'm not playing off the ranger did some stuff. I'm kind of like focusing on the barbarian, but he was the most like pushy. For the tiefling, she has a mysterious. She made a deal with a demon to escape her sexual harem, horrible past, whatever. And so in Storm King's Thunder, there's the big Kraken Society, and I've mentioned this before. So that's the demon. Like when the guy said he wanted to play that and make a demon or deal with the demon thing, I was like, man, I don't have any demons in this, and I don't want to add demons to a giant dragon thing. I'm like, man, but when I realized the Kraken Society and the I don't know the guy's name, the Kraken himself that's kind of running this whole thing. He's kind of Imrath, the blue dragon, is the one sort of implementing the breaking of the ordning and controlling of the giants. But the Imrath, is actually being controlled or made a deal through the Kraken, and the Kraken is obviously in the deep ocean. But anyway, it's the Kraken that has a drop of her blood in a vial that she gave up, and that vial is on the same ship that Hecaton, the Storm King, the King Hecaton is imprisoned at. So that's going to be cool. That's going to be the connection. And I made her start off with a nightmare, or hit a nightmare with these visions of this blood, beating heart. Is it a storm? Is it a what is it that's all surrounding this lonely beating heart nightmare thing? And then I let her have a insight roll. She'll roll a 14, so I give her a little bit of you gave a drop of blood to the demon who now can come out and crush your heart. So there's that build up, and now. So that's that kind of storyline. The ranger so far has just done his ranger duties and nothing crazy. I don't know. I might have done something epic, but I don't remember yet. Anyway, so we get to this. They get to the North Furrow trading post, and the Dragonborn barbarian is a gladiator. That's his background. So here he immediately notices a clearing, which looks like an arena. It's like a little trading post arena. He immediately, so when they go into the tavern, they start talking, and he starts asking about that. They're like, oh yeah, we have our local Hafo. Oh yeah, he can fight you. So that was a nice little built in. They're all like betting and trying to figure out, Hafo. And then one of the guys half orc, and I'm like, oh yeah, Hafo. So it turns out when he finally comes, and they get up to 75 gold, I rolled to see what, in this little small training post, how I rolled it like a 19. So I'm like, oh, that's okay. The pot is 75 gold for the winner, a meal for the loser, and then the other guys that bet. I did another roll to see the ratio. And I figured the ratio would be 1 to 2 at the most, and it was 1 to 1. So they basically won back their way plus extra if they won. So that was it for that. But then they fought, and so the guy that came out was a half ogre. So he's a half ogre. So he's actually the Wainwright Smith kind of guy that fixes the wagons and stuff. I made this big character. I should pull up the mini mod I made, mini drawing. Let me just pull this up real quick. Let me pause this and all. Okay, so here's the little half ogre mini I made. That came out and fought the character. So he's like a half ogre. He could just be an ogre too, I guess. Here's some others. Anyway, I'll go back to my design. So so that was what was cool is that the barbarian just charged. I rolled a 1 for the Haffy. They call him Haffy. I rolled a 1, so I just let the barbarian just, and they use wooden battle axes. He just beat in 2 rounds. He beat him. I was pretty shocked because the half ogre had better stats. His hit points 30, armor class hit points 30. He had a +5, but he did 2 die 10 +3, so he had more damage. The barbarian had +6, I think. Here, because he has an 18 strength, and he only had 14 hit points. So, but he used his rage, and stuff. I figured he'd win, but I didn't think it'd be 2 rounds. But whatever, it was fun. It was good. They were like, yeah, and everyone's all shocked, the farmers and all that, and so that was cool. And then after that, I think they go to bed, but the next morning they're getting ready to go, the merchant and all that. Oh, they go to the tanner, then the cool, and then of course I wanted them to do some shopping. Shopping is great. The ranger got a better leather armor. He wanted to get and I do offer things like master crafted +1 items, like leather +1 leather armor, 300 gold, +1 shield, 300 gold. But it would take them a day to make it, and they didn't want to, they couldn't wait another day, and they didn't have 300 gold. They only have they're around 100, hovering around 100 gold or so. And plus, they went to the monastery, met the monks and the nuns, and then they bought some herbal healing, healing, and bread of sustenance. So the herbal healing is, put it here, is just a 1 day heal, but it takes 10 minutes. So it's kind of a short rest thing. It's 10 gold. And then of course, bread of sustenance is 2 day 8 heal is 25 gold. So they eat that bread, and that'll give them 2 day 8 for, in an hour. So they bought a couple of those. And then of course, here's the prices for the other things. Now, the main reason I do this is so they have a goal. Like, oh man, if I just get rid of gold, I can get a plus one. And it's not magical, it's just master crafted is the way I term it. So they did all that little shopping, that was cool. Got little things. Then the next day, I did let them know there's a lot of fires going around, torches. The monks set them up almost like they're magical, but they set them up, and they didn't really ask why, so I didn't. But if they did, I was going to tell them there's a troll. There's a troll lurking around, and so they have these fires that keep the troll away at night. Anyway, the next day, the monk decides to ask them if you could help us with this troll. Of course, the merchant's mad, doesn't want him to do it. He's, well, let's go, and they do have they have an argument about it, and finally persuade him to stay one more day, and they're going to do it. And they pay him or whatever. And he did sell the wagon and got them some gold, and that was a little mistrust thing there, but it worked out fine. So they went around. So they decided to stay one more day. What they were not supposed to, but they did. And they went down here to look for the troll, because the monk said, well, I think they lost fishermen along the banks, but they don't fish anymore at night or go there at night. They go down. They see an old broken boat. They want to get to the isle and check that out. Nothing there. So then they go along here. They look for tracks. The ranger keeps failing miserably. They go here. And this is a cool little scene where I had in the marsh. They see some eyes pop up. It's a giant bullfrog, but they see some eyes, and it freaks them out. That's cool. You gotta get a little scary. And it's coming closer, and they're like, oh, like they don't know what to do. And the barbarian's like, oh, I'm gonna go in the water. I'm saying you're gonna be really, disadvantaged all your swings, and and he wants to still do it. And then the eyes are getting closer, and so I'm creeping him out. And then the tiefling does her thaumaturgy, whatever, and does a little shivering the water and whatever. I forgot exactly what she did, but it scared it away basically. So it just took off. But they got to see like the shadow of this giant bullfrog swim away, and they're like, whoo, it was a nice little scare, and that's like an awesome encounter. So it wasn't the troll. So they were like, okay, it's not the troll. So they came back around here. It's kind of funny what they did. They went around here. They wanted to swim here. I'm like, the currents, They had an old boat. I was waiting for them. So in my mind, they had the boats up the Wainwrights, because they removed them because they didn't want the troll to damage or anything. And but they never asked about that, or I was hoping they would just go right back to their ask for some boats or something, but they never did. They just kept talking about, oh, we gotta do this, and then they went along here. The mysterious rock that does have something. So they saw on the map. The guy, even the barbarians, go, what's that? And I'm like, he goes, what's that rock over there? I'm like, yeah, it's a rock. And he goes, yeah, it's pretty big. It's like 20 feet high. Oh, so he tries to climb it. He has an athletics of +6. He fails. They all three fail to climb the rock. At the very top of the rock is an elven rune, like a moon rune, and it says, sit here, and on a full moon you get an answer to one question. So I was going to have them, so they could do some cool little question thing for fate, whatever. I had no idea what they're going to ask, but they never got out there. So then they went around the Trout Forest. And I just nothing, some animals and stuff. I didn't want to do any encounters there. Checked out over here, blah blah blah. Then they went down to the bridge. I'm like, oh my goodness. So under the bridge with some bones, the young troll hangs out under there and eats some stuff. So they're, oh, we're gonna make a trap here. Oh, I'm gonna get the old boat. We're gonna, go back and forth what to do and all this stuff. So it's kind of funny. I mean, they were dealing with that for a while. So I don't know. Somehow they went back up here, and the monk. I had to break their meandering. I had a monk come up and, how's it going with the young troll? And they go, oh, we don't know where it is. We can't find. We're gonna make a trap with the old boat. And he goes, the old boat? And they go, yeah, we're gonna use the old boat and make a trap. And he goes, oh, okay, good. As long as it's not one of our good boats. They missed that clue. They totally went, okay, yeah, well, we're going to make a trap and da-da-da. Because I tried to tell them they had some good boats. Because I know they wanted to get to the isle. They wanted to get to the isle. They're figuring the troll was over there, but they couldn't get there. So they're figuring they're going to wait for it here. But, they were conversing more and more, and something happened. And the monk finally said, why don't you take one of our good boats? And they're like, oh my God. You know what I mean? So like, okay, we get the boat. it was funny because I was like, okay, we'll end it there, and they're like, no, we gotta finish it, we gotta go. So they got the boat and went out here, and we had to play it quickly because it was the end of the night, and I didn't really have anything set up. What do you do when you don't have anything set up, right? So I did have another video where I explained easy villain spellcasters, but that goes for everything, for traps too, or all I did was boom, 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 done. So this is what I did. Hole underneath the tree, they found it in the mud. I gave them a little rusted helmets and dead, ruined armor, so they knew that, aha, troll here. So there's a hole there. I said very muddy, DC 15. You're gonna slide. They're like, ooh. And the barbarian, I'm gonna do it because he's got athletics of 6+6. So he rolled it. He did it. He crawled down, but it's dark. So, and I did this all on top of my head, right on the fly. And I immediately created spikes at the bottom there. So if you slide down the mud, you get stuck in the spikes, and the troll set that up. Very simple for a troll to understand and do. That's it. That's all you need. And it worked out great. They were scared, freaky deaky. So the barbarian scooted down, got to the spikes, saw the spikes, darkness. So he has disadvantage. Okay, so the ranger is freaking out and trying to help him with a torch. And then the troll immediately attacks the barbarian. The barbarian's scooting around the spikes to get past him, and that's when the fight happens. But he does well. He starts fighting. It's a young troll, so it's not a super tough troll. I made him, if I can see, a younger troll, lake troll. So he's only got 38 hit points, armor class 16, 2 attacks +4. And I'm going to do where if he grapples him, he can come in for a bite as well. But only if he succeeds at a grapple. I like to do grapple stuff because, like for zombies, and I just like doing it. It just makes more sense to me that when you fight someone and you grapple and you can bring them in, you get an easy bite or whatever. So he, so the barbarian was fighting him. The ranger freaks out, goes down, risks it, and goes down. He slides. He fails the DC 15. Slides, hits the spikes. Boom! Takes him down to like 2 hits. He's only first level. And he's sitting there. He's in total messed up. But he holds the torch, so that the barbarian can at least see. And I'm not going to use a torch as a weapon, like throw and burn him or anything. He kind of could have done something, but he's stuck on spikes. So he's trying to pull himself, and he's in the mud, sliding. So I really made that heinous and tight, And the tiefling couldn't really help because they were both blocking the view of the troll, and she couldn't find another entrance. So she was at that moment unable to help. What the barbarian did well, but he got down to 1 hit point, and he was hurting the troll, but the troll was regenerating, and they didn't know that. And so the ranger kept failing his insight, and he is a giant slayer, so trolls are giants. So he did finally get a advantage roll. He did it a couple times, but he kept failing. Finally, he rolled again. I let him roll again for this moment, and I gave him the insight of fire. He finally succeeded at the roll. Fire. And they're all, what? Fire? You want to tell him? And they go, oh yeah, trolls are afraid of fire. Fire! So the ranger in his last little breath yells fire, and then the new guy, is playing the barbarian, the dragonborn. I blew my breath, and he totally gets him with the breath and burns him, and of course the troll can't heal, and then the tiefling comes down and slides down, and she slides into the ranger actually. Oh, and that's when they both get it. He's out, and she gets hurt, but she could have still cast spells, but at that point the barbarian succeeded in. So that was a heinous situation. They got the ranger got 2 more +1 arrows, which I had planned on that. I didn't plan it for the bandit earlier, but he got these 2 +2 arrows. They got some gems and 100 gold pieces. And the way I'm going to do gems is I'm going to make them a value. It's kind of odd. Well, the way I like it. I'm going to say that the way I'm doing it for this, and probably in the future, a common gem is worth about 10 gold. A merchant looking gem is worth around 50 gold, depending on what you can trade it in for. A noble gem is worth 200, lordly is worth 500, and legendary is worth 5,000. So I'm going to just say it's a common looking gem, which is approximately, what I mean? And they can go, like, how many gems you got? Well, I got 10 common gems. Okay, let's roll, for trade in value. So that's kind of how I'm doing that, just for the fun of it. And that was it. It was really good. That was the end of the night. They were really exhausted. I felt like they went up to 2nd level, barely. They just got 300 XP. That was 300 XP. Fighting the bandits. The barbarian got an extra 200 XP. Yeah, for fighting the half ogre in the arena. The troll got him some XP, and I gave him a little extra just for all the things they did, like 50 or something like that, 50 each. But yeah, they got him 300 XP. Did they do anything else? No, I don't think they did. That was it for. So that was a lot of fun. That was my, that's how I build up generally my low level, first level characters. Start off in a small little area, do a couple of interesting things, to have access to shopping and goals like that, plus the emotional goals, attachment to what's going on in the land. And soon we'll be playing episode 3, but I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful for you as a DMers. And it was a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed doing this.